Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids. Nice little Tuesday afternoon, a dish of Drinkin Bros. Not that we're here every Tuesday, because we are D'Anthony, but we got a special guest today who the audience loves, we love, was on the show a couple hundred episodes ago. He's back with a new book. It's Ryan Michler. You obviously know him from his popular podcast, The Order of a Man. Now, next week, he's got a new book out called The Masculinity Manifesto, How a Man Establishes Influence, Credibility, and Authority. Welcome to the show, Ryan. How are you?
What's up, you guys? Great to be back. I've been looking forward to it.
I know, man. I love the title. You're missing dominance in the title. When we're talking about masculinity, I wanted a little dominance in there, brother.
Yeah, well, if you read it, when you read it or listen to it, you'll get some of that in there, because I actually talk about some of these traits that generally I think society would consider maybe toxic. And I talk about how we can actually use those characteristics for productive outcomes. So dominance is a very, very specific, it's one of the chapters in the book. So we didn't miss it. It's just not on the cover, man. Okay, good. I'm proud of you, because I gotta at least know that it's in there.
You can't put the whole book on the cover, right?
You can, why not?
Technically.
Nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could just have a bunch of blank pages in the middle, I guess.
It's kind of like that Ron Swanson book, like, he wrote a book on being a man, and I think if you just open it up, it says "be a man," and that's it. And the rest of the pages are all blank. It just says "be a man."
That's true, by the way. And then somebody else puts, I think there was a book called "Everything You Know."
Everything you need to know about liberals, or something.
Yes.
It was not Matt Walsh.
Although that's something he would do.
Yeah,
of course.
Sure. No,
of
it was Michael Knowles, I think.
That's right. And all the pages were blank when you opened it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, amazing.
I don't know who
Matt Walsh is amazing. He is one of the most masterful trolls on the internet today.
Is it a bit
so incredible?
Let me ask you this: do you think it's a bit? Is it just a one character that he's playing, or do you think that's genuinely him? I think he was supposed to be on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think, and he was supposed to be on ours too. So like, welcome to the club, I guess. But yeah, I think it is him. And I just think he just knows himself so well. And yeah, it's a bit of a persona, right? But I think it is his personality. And he's so good at it, from AOC's grandmother and doing a GoFundMe account for her to what is a woman. And all of the things, they're so clever, because it's like there's so much truth to it, but still it's masterful trollery. It's incredible.
I saw one. I actually saw a commercial this weekend that I want to dovetail into that whole AC, whatever the fuck her name is.
AOC.
Thing. I can't remember what it was. It was from some food company or something, and the guy comes over and he's got food of some sort, and he's a Latino dude, and his grandma's there. And she's like, oh, you got whatever? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, but nothing for abuelita. And I wanted to turn that into like maybe her getting into her fucking $150,000 Tesla and whining that her grandmother doesn't have any money.
Well, look, that's what abuelos are there for. And that's grandparents.
It was so funny the way she said it too. It was like, but nothing for abuelita. Super sad and shit. Maybe I'll just pass that one on to fucking Primetime Stein. And he can
sure. Perfect example, Primetime Stein. So he was on the show a couple weeks ago. It is a bit. He's very open about it. And he's like, dude, I want to be the next Andy Kaufman. That's why I was asking about Matt Walsh. I can't figure it out.
No, I think it's legit. I just think he's really good at it, and he knows how to capitalize on it. But I don't think it's fabricated or made up. I just think he's really good at it, and he knows how to market it well.
You don't think it's like a Stephen Colbert type of thing where it's a 50-50?
I don't. I think he's been in the game long enough that, even before he's with Daily Wire, I mean, he was doing the same thing. That he's just mastered it. He's just gotten better at it. He's gotten better at being himself, if I had to guess. But I don't know him either, so who knows?
Who knows? He hasn't been on either of our shows, so it's all speculation.
He almost came on both of our shows, which is almost cool.
And literally like 2 weeks ago, too, so it was strange. Whatever. Who cares? He's got a movie out. You have a book out. What made you want to write this book?
Well, I wrote another book a couple of years ago. It's called Sovereignty for the Battle for the Hearts and Minds of Men, and really talked about some internal and external factors that are working against us as men. But this one, I wanted to come at it with a different angle and really be the antithesis of what the popular narrative is, which is men aren't needed. Men are toxic. There's studies from the American Psychological Association that paint masculinity as inherently destructive to our young men. And so this is the antithesis of that, and trying to explain that, no, we're not the enemy. In fact, if we learn how to harness these virtues that we inherently possess, then we can do some real good in the world, which is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that, and this, I guess this comes from Eastern philosophy more than Western, because Western philosophy tends to be a little bit more judgmental, but Eastern philosophy would say that there's no intrinsic goodness or badness to a trait. It just is, right? And it's dependent upon how you use it. So aggression can be used to oppress other people, or it can be used to defend other people. That's just one example.
Right. Well, and that's actually the case I make in the book. And this is actually counter to a lot of guys in this masculine type space. Is masculinity is amoral. It's neither good nor bad. It's not toxic. It's not great. It is, because masculinity is just defined as a set of characteristics and behaviors that we possess because of the biological makeup that of us, and how we use it, whether it's aggression, dominance, violence, stoicism, competitiveness. How we use it really determines whether or not it's effective. I think I had used the analogy of a hammer. I could build a home with a hammer. I could crack somebody's skull open with it. Is the hammer good or bad? No, it's just how you use it.
That's what I call my cock too.
Yeah, the hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Whether I can build a house with it, I can also crack somebody over the head with it.
I call mine the sickle. So together, it's like we're almost communists.
Yeah, the hammer and the sickle, dude.
I don't want to know what you do with your sickle.
Don't worry about that.
Well, we wrap it together, and then we create a Russia thing.
Like the medical.
Exactly, the snake.
snakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We do the same thing, and we tell people, don't be a communist. And that's kind of how we do it, is just by wrapping dicks around each other. Because not a lot of people know that. We can say it all we want, but until you show somebody what two dicks look like, kind of intertwined like that,
then they get it. At that moment is where they get it.
Then everybody's all in, where you're just like, all right, cool. And then we're untying it usually the rest of the night. It's a very intricate dance of teaching people not to be communists or homosexuals, because neither of us have come.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we're standing by for that. It's interesting in how there's been this concerted effort, from one part of society to undermine and even demonize in many cases masculinity as toxic, generally speaking. But when actual toxic masculinity shows itself, especially the last 2 or 3 years, you don't really see a whole lot of recourse towards that. Like this dude who went wild with the fucking axe in a McDonald's, right? Yep. Was out on bail within 18 hours. Well, actually not even on bail. He was out on his own recognizance within 18 hours after fucking smashing up a bunch of property and threatening people with an edged weapon in public.
Yeah.
Was it because the ice cream machine was broken?
I don't know. We went to get McFlurries the other day and it wasn't working. So
wouldn't that make you want to take an axe to it?
Here's what I really want to know.
That's a legitimate reason, actually.
Yeah, because I
building
said
an axe and swinging it around.
Maybe that's what his attorney said.
I said on Ross Passion Revolution this morning, I was talking about the COO of Beyond Meat.
Oh yeah, you eat enough fucking like soy with 85 ingredients to make it edible, you're gonna bite somebody's face off.
Yes.
You're gonna bite somebody's nose off.
Yeah,
and he bit somebody's nose off and he ate it, and that just shows you need to not be vegan.
Yeah, that's being vegan is stupid.
It is. But he also did it in stadium traffic, by the way, and that was a big part of the story, which I think it's justified. So I actually don't blame the guy.
I want to know who makes the ice cream machines that McDonald's uses. I think the public deserves to know who sucks that badly at their fucking job.
I think China does it to piss all of us off.
That might be true.
Oh, yeah. I say the same thing. Anytime I'm setting up a stroller or a piece of furniture. It's like, it's the Chinese laughing at us Americans setting up this stuff, and it's always missing one piece, or one little thing doesn't fit the way it should. It's designed that way. It's not a bug. It's a feature.
It is the Taylor Company out of Rockton, Illinois. The Taylor Company out of Rockton, Illinois.
Is that Taylor,
makes the ice cream machines?
Yeah, the Taylor Freezer Corp.
T-A-Y or
those
T-A-I?
guys.
Taylor.
Okay, so there's one of two things happening here. Either Taylor products suck, or McDonald's isn't spending the money for maintenance. It's one of the two, right? And McDonald's is the most successful restaurant franchise in the history of the world. It's one of the most successful businesses in the history of the world.
Yeah.
You would have to think that they would want their ice cream machines to work.
One would think.
Yeah, but there's got to be some sort of financial incentive in there, like some companies owning another company, and it's planned obsolescence where, this thing is designed to break down, so this other company from McDonald's can come in and fix it, and like all kinds of
I
stuff.
like how we're 10 minutes into this conversation and it's already deep state ice cream.
But that's what's here's the thing. We're talking about things that people are afraid to in their real lives, and that's what they come here for.
Nobody wants to take on
hard-hitting info.
Nobody wants to take on big ice cream.
I do. Fuck them,
I don't
dude.
give
And
a
I
fuck.
love
We'll
McDonald's.
talk
I'm a
about it.
fan.
We'll
I've got
address it.
18 nuggets inside of me right now, rectally, and I'm a huge fan of McDonald's. So I'm not anti-McDonald's. Not at all.
If you're gonna do that, I would recommend pulling the breading off first.
I didn't. I just went full bread in.
It's too much sodium.
I put a shoestring through it so I can pull them all out.
Absorbing the protein rectally is fine, but you don't want to put a bunch of sodium up there. Like you can get salt poisoning by doing that.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
I'm a fucking expert on putting shit up your ass.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because I like to ask questions.
Well, you have
And
to.
sometimes you can ask your own body a question by putting something inside of it and seeing what happens.
My mind's telling me no, but my body.
It's just a science experiment.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
for science.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely. Speaking of which, there was a thing. This is number 2 on Twitter today, so I'm going to bring it up. The FDA is telling people not to cook chicken with NyQuil. Apparently,
I saw a TikTok of that, yeah.
on TikTok.
What?
She called it sleepy chicken. It was blue NyQuil.
That's real.
Yeah. A whole bottle of it.
Sleepy chicken.
That's what she called it.
So
Sleepy
it's
chicken.
to go
I mean,
nine
that would
nine.
do it, I suppose.
I mean, I don't
Does
know
it
if she
taste good?
Obviously not.
Well, no. Here's what the FDA. Their only warning was that when you put it in the pan, the fumes can cause you to fucking get high or whatever, which only makes me want to do it more.
Right,
But they didn't say anything about the taste of the chicken. Does it taste good? Do we know if NyQuil and chicken actually taste good?
We can make it, I mean, and just have a little bit each.
Yeah, I'll have some
Well,
sleepy chicken.
maybe not you, because you don't like handle sleepy time drugs that well.
Well, I mean, I'll have it right before bedtime.
Yeah,
I'll have it right before bedtime. That's fine.
Yeah. By the way, there's a dude in the chat, Mason Goodwin. He says he's a tech for Burger King, and the Taylor machines they have are very reliable. Now, I don't know if that's just Burger King propaganda. Like they were listening.
That's what it sounds
Sounds
like.
like a battle.
'Cause I haven't-
Burger King.
I don't know-
versus
Sounds like-
McDonald's.
I don't know if I've seen this guy in the chat before, and he just kind of pops up out of nowhere with some Burger King expertise out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust it, but I'm also not going to rule it out that Burger King's got bots out into the world who are trying to take down McDonald's. So, Bob, fact check this guy, pull his whole fucking card, everything. I want to know everything about this guy.
Yeah.
Height, weight, birth, and weight at birth too. While you're at it, and length, just his length at birth too. If he's less than 22 inches
Scuba
long.
Steve says that might be Ray Epps.
You think so?
He's working for Burger
There
King
you
now.
go.
doing
Might be.
propaganda.
There you go.
Might be. Where were you at on J6? Do you remember?
Me? Mm-hmm.
And
I don't remember. I don't remember. You know what I do remember? My wife was like, "Hey, they're doing a rally in DC. You should think about going." I'm like, I'm not going to DC. And she's like, "No, you should. It should be interesting. There'd be a lot of people there. You can meet with people." I'm like, "Nah, that sounds ridiculous. I'm not doing that." And then afterwards, she's like, "I'm so glad that you did not go to DC on January 6th."
Do you think you would have
me
gone
too.
in? Honest answer. Do you think you would have gone in if you were there? Maybe you had some booze and you were like, man, I would love to take a peek in there and just kind of see what it really looks like from an insider perspective.
I mean, I've been in the Capitol building and I've had a couple of tours and all of that kind of stuff and seen some back rooms and whatnot, which is kind of cool actually. But yeah, I've asked myself that question before, and I cannot honestly say that I would not.
I know.
So
I know.
I may have found myself in a very, very bad position.
Yeah, because we've all been there, right? In the middle of these things, you kind of get swept up in the magic and everything that's going on. I was in one, like in a riot, I guess I should say, at Ohio State after we lost to Michigan to go to the national championship. And some people were overturning a car, and I was like, it looks like they need a hand. Like I might need to get in there just to see what it's like. Like, how heavy is a car?
Just assisting. You don't want anybody to pull any muscles or anything like that.
That's it. I was a young man, super jacked the same way as I am today. It's maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought, what if we just got in there? How many people would it take to overturn a car? Answer was about 8 or 9. It wasn't that difficult.
That's too many.
It wasn't that difficult.
It was way too many.
Yeah, you should be able to do that with like 4.
It was a bigger car. So you got to go back to the cars from those one was metal. It's not the cheap plastic bullshit that we have now, because cars have changed, and it's a big difference. Like I drive a pickup truck. It's a Raptor, and that's all metal, and it's heavy as shit. Like that truck is heavy as shit versus some of the other trucks we've had at the company, because we kind of swap them in and out for tax reasons every year. And there's some that you drive where you're like, this feels too light. D'Anthony, you just got in a head-on collision in a Cherokee. How would you rate it?
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't a head-on collision. I T-boned somebody who pulled out in front of me.
Oh, got it.
So I hit the side of their car.
But your car was fucked.
For me, it was head-on. Yeah.
You totaled it, though?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
You
ever total a car, Ryan?
I'm trying to think if I have. It's weird that I can't remember, quite honestly. If I have, because I've gotten in a few accidents. In fact, I think it was a Cherokee, but it wasn't. It didn't look like it should have been totaled, and I think I ended up buying it back from the insurance or something. I did something like they totaled it, and then I bought it back. I can't exactly remember because in my mind it wasn't totaled, but I guess they considered it totaled, something like that. I can't remember. But you know what's crazy is we've got a corner right here outside of our house. And I am not exaggerating. We probably see this year, we've probably seen 15 plus crashes right at this intersection outside of my house. It's wild.
You should put a camera out there.
Yeah.
Well, we've got our security cameras. It's like how do you pick it up and know which cars are going to get in an accident and stuff like that, right? So it's how do you track all of it?
Well, you just point a camera at that thing 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and that's somebody's kink.
Just let it roll.
That's somebody's kink, too. So if you put up an OnlyFans and then show the crash footage next to you masturbating next to it, that's a kink, and people pay a lot of money for that.
I'm definitely not doing that second part, but I do like the first part.
We'll see. Here's how it goes. So
talk me into it.
You see, it's an over-the-shoulder OTS shot of the crash happening, and you just kind of see his arms moving like this and noises being made.
So you just fill in the blanks, like people are just filling in the blanks.
Well, it's all theater, right? Like you don't want to actually.
Exactly. It's performative.
I don't like too much exposition in my art. Like just let me decide what the art means. That's the whole fucking point of it, right?
So there was a movie about this, right?
Crash.
Yeah, Crash.
And it came out.
James Spader was in it.
It came out not too far away from the Oscar-winning movie.
Correct.
Crash.
It was about 5 years before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out in '96. I think Crash was in 2001 or 2002, the other one that won the Oscar. Yeah. But whenever somebody searched it, they would go to this movie where people were getting into car crashes just to have sex.
Yeah, they're like listening on police scanners for car crashes that happen, and they'll go to the location and pound off or bang their SO, whatever.
And that's somebody's kink. So all I'm saying is, if there's a lot of crashes in front of your house, monetize it.
I mean, they're not hurting anybody.
Monetize it. Well, I mean, they're hurting themselves in the car, but not next to it, right?
No, well, they're not hurting anybody, though.
Well, the people in the car or the people that are showing up, jacking off, or having sex next to it?
The people that are pounding off.
Oh, yes. They're not hurting anybody
just,
at all.
Look, it's an unfortunate situation, but I don't have the tools or skills to help that. So I'm
if they're doing that outside of my house, I'm kind of like, if you've got 4 kids, there's some things there.
How close is it to your house? So like 100 yards, I feel like is safe enough.
Probably not 100. It's probably like 40-ish.
Okay, 40 people? Gotcha.
No, 40 yards.
No, 40 yards away.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Just build a wall.
Yeah, build a wall.
Build a wall.
Or build like
I do need that. I need a crash wall. We had one of the cars come up onto our lawn and actually burn down on our lawn. One almost took out our flagpole. Like our kids don't even play out there. I'm like, don't play out there. You got plenty of room in the back. Play out in the back.
Now, do you have a Ukrainian flag on your flagpole, or what's up there?
Yeah, is it American?
We have the American flag by itself. That's it. And it isn't lowered to half mast for the Queen of England passing away or whatever.
Yeah, why would we do that?
Well,
is that what that is?
That so
in the state of Maine, that's that, and I don't know if it is wherever.
No,
everybody else is,
Texas is doing it too, man.
Biden
They're big
ordered it.
Queen
Yeah,
fans.
we're not doing that.
I don't give
not
a
doing
fuck about England or their queen.
We should have added more pole to the flag pole and then raised it higher.
Why?
Why?
Just to celebrate a monarch's death.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think about her tiny little body was finally buried yesterday, and they had a whole thing where you could stand in line for miles and miles and then look at the casket.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Biden once again got caught sniffing her hair, which is like, come on, man.
And that was odd. But the other funny thing about the British is when Biden showed up yesterday, they were waiting for him, chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." I don't know if you saw that video that went viral. Did you see that, Ryan?
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
No.
so they're all chanting, "Let's go, Biden." And then the other one, and this is a true story. I know this is going to sound fake, but you can fact check me. Bob, please prepare to fact check me on this one. This is totally true. Trudeau from Canada.
Oh, yeah, he got lit up.
Got lit up. He was singing karaoke till the wee hours in the morning, specifically Queen, before going to the funeral. And when he showed up, he got booed by everybody. Can you confirm that story?
So-
Is that
Yeah,
real,
that's
Bob?
100%
It is 100% real.
If
Okay.
let me, I just want to bring this up. If he had been a guy from like South London or an Irish president or somebody like that, I would because that's how they do wakes. They get fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he is a little bitch from Canada. Not that everybody from Canada is a bitch, but he definitely is a little bitch. Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't deserve to go fucking man out and get wild and do a wake and shit like that. You keep your fucking mouth shut.
I agree.
Yeah. Or wrap it around a shotgun or something like that. Whatever's convenient, Justin.
Whatever's near you. You know what I'm saying? It
You know
could be
he's
a
Fidel
microphone.
Castro's son. Everybody knows that now, right?
Yeah, you know that he's Castro's boy, right?
I've heard. So I've heard.
They look
We'll leave
identical.
it there.
If
They
you-
do, no doubt.
Put up a side by side, it'll really freak your.
And
your
there's
whole shit.
definitely a lot of circumstantial evidence putting Fidel Castro's penis inside of Justin Trudeau's mother,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, and it was for the Revolution.
Well,
So, and then James Franco is actually going to play him in a movie, which is a fun thing.
Yeah, and isn't there some up in arms about that with how they're casting and
oh yeah, people
Yeah.
are up in
Yeah.
arms about a Black Little Mermaid too. It's
Little
not real,
Mermaid,
God damn it!
Mermaids are real.
No, mermaids aren't real. The
Yeah.
Little Mermaid definitely isn't real.
She was
who
a
gives
tinier
fuck?
mermaid. She was just a little one.
No, Splash maybe, but not this cartoon shit.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, I'm not stoked about all these fucking remakes, anyways. And I think it's all fucking bullshit. With you, let's say your books, absolutely explode. Who do you want to play you in a movie?
I want to play in the movie. What there's
Oh, you
I'm
want to
the
play
one only,
yourself?
man. Yeah. Why? Yeah. You gotta do it yourself. I can do it better than anybody else.
What are you, fucking Audie Murphy now? Come on.
I mean,
You think you could do it?
of course I could. I wouldn't be acting. It's me, right? So yeah,
Well,
I could pull it off.
You're living, yeah. Who's your wife? Who's playing your wife?
Oh, good question. I don't want to throw my wife under the bus or anything, but like Gal Gadot would be a good pick for me.
Forrest Whitaker.
You know,
Somebody like Gal Gadot or Forrest Whitaker.
Or
one of those
Forrest
two, yeah.
Whitaker, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a close second. It's a toss up. Really,
your-
just flip a coin on that one.
Is your wife white?
She is white. Yes.
Okay. That's probably not going to play. You're going to need a more diverse cast.
It's not
there.
woke. It's not woke.
No,
Yeah,
you're going to
sure.
need a Latino. Go with like an Ava Mendes to play your wife. I think that'd be a nice thing.
And probably
all right with
put her
that.
in a wheelchair too, if that'll help.
Yeah, is she crippled?
Well, I actually had to have an interesting conversation with my kids the other day because we went to KFC. My wife was out of town, speaking of my wife. And so my kids are like, let's go to KFC. So I took them to KFC and then we went bowling. And there was a person at the register that I'm pretty sure was a female that had a beard that rivaled mine.
Wow.
And my kids were pretty thrown off by that. So we had to talk a little bit about that, which was kind of interesting.
Well, it's not shocking to see
A bearded lady these days?
People
outside of a circus?
Well, people from the circus at KFC.
Not at all.
I mean, but it's still pretty. I mean, where we're at, it's still pretty shocking. You know, my kids don't really.
Oh, you're
don't
in
really
Maine,
see
right?
that. Maine.
Yeah,
Little
yeah.
Maine.
Yeah.
So,
you don't see a lot of that in Maine. What is the convo that you have with your kids? Because I've got 3 kids. I haven't had to have that conversation yet. What do you say when you see a lady with a beard?
I've got kids from 14 down to 6. So my older 2, we can have a real conversation about that. My younger, it's like, people are confused is usually the route that I'll go. People are confused. They don't understand if they're a boy or a girl. Nobody's helping or giving them guidance. And so we talk about it from that standpoint. So yeah, it's a little different too. We live in an area that has a college here. So there's always some weird college kids around here, and they get to see the circus, down the road, which is very interesting.
Yeah. And I feel like Maine is one of those places where you either disappear to because you just want to check out of major cities and society and shit like that, or you're going to hide because you've got a dark past or you want to become a woman and have a beard.
Well, there's a lot of people in the witness
And work at
protection
KFC.
program up there.
Yeah, is there? Yeah, exactly. Is it really?
Yeah, a lot of WITSEC dudes go there, a lot in Florida.
No shit.
Is that right? Interesting.
Yeah. With you in particular, is the KFC the biggest joint in your town?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a couple other little nice restaurants, but yeah, that's about it. We do have a Walmart. That's cool.
Shit, you don't say. So you got a Walmart and a
do.
KFC, and then I'm sure you got a shit ton of lobster. I heard you can just walk out in the ocean and it just comes right up and you can punch it and then just take it home. True or false?
I haven't done that, but I could probably see that happening. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you guys eat a lot of lobster at your household?
We did when we moved here, not so much anymore. But we run events up here, so every time we run an event, we've got a friend, Joe Parody, comes over and he cooks lobster for us. In fact, just this weekend, he's going to cook 100 lobsters for us for an event that we're running this weekend.
Damn it, I knew it, dude. I knew it.
It's like that here with the crawfish boil bullshit. Like I get it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it, man. I get it.
You've done it.
Can we
You've
just
done it.
eat steaks for fuck's sake?
Right.
I don't know, man. I could eat lobster every day for the rest of my life. I enjoy it.
Well, you don't
There's a
actually like
story
lobster.
when-
You like butter.
No, I like both. Go ahead.
You have to have the right ratio for sure, and it's more than what you would think. Yeah, there's a story that I heard that when a long time ago, people would come up here and they would work for the government or be contracted by the government, but they built into their contracts that they would only eat lobster like twice a week because they were getting so much of it and it was so abundant that they wouldn't eat more than that. And they actually built it into the contracts when they got bid on these jobs.
Well, you can get gout too, and I think that's a thing that everybody's worried about too, where it's just like, well, you eat too many lobsters, you're going to get gout and die on the job, and then I've got to replace you. I think they're delightful. I would have them every day if I could, but they're super expensive. Are they cheap up there?
No. Well, and it's all seasonal, right? So no, it's not cheap. They're expensive. I don't know what they are right now, but they're not cheap. I know that.
Damn it, man. What's the point of living there if you can't get cheap lobster?
It's just a slower way of life. We got a little land. It's a little slower, which it has its benefits and the downsides, but that's why we're here.
How are those winters? They got to be brutal.
I thought they were going to be bad. I thought they were going to be really bad. And we had a lot of people prepare us for them. But the last couple of years they've been more than I've ever experienced as far as a winter. But as long as you've got heat in the house and you've got a snow plow in the front of your truck, you're good to go.
Where did you move from? Where were you before?
From southern Utah. So more like Vegas climate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So complete 180, completely different.
There's a political candidate in Utah we're rooting for right now, Linda Paulson.
Yeah, have you seen that
Okay.
old lady that raps for her campaign?
No,
Oh,
this is in Utah.
Yeah, I'll send it
Yeah.
to you later. It's fucking
Send it over
it's,
to me.
It's
Yeah, I
absolutely
haven't seen
ridiculous.
it.
It's so
Beautiful. She's 80 years old. She wrote a hit rap song, and she's a Republican. She believes in God and 2A and everything. So we're all in on Linda Paulson, this 80-year-old woman running
I'm
for
not.
Utah State Senate.
I refuse to support any political candidate. But
I am on this one.
This is
I am on
funnier.
this one.
This is funnier than most.
Well, but you gotta root for the comedy
Yeah.
or another song.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
at least it's different.
I'm not sure what
it's not
she's
the
gonna
same
do.
old thing.
By the way, the reason I keep asking you about Maine is we're down in Texas. We're in Austin. It's been hot as shit all summer. 110 degrees every goddamn day. My wife has been watching these house shows on Discovery Plus about Maine. They keep fixing up these boat houses in Maine. And every day, like Sundays, Saturdays, and Sunday mornings, it'll be on, and I'll get sucked into it because the weather looks so much cooler than what we're dealing with here that I'm like, fuck it. Maybe Maine's got it all figured out, and I can just move to one of these small boat towns, fix up a house, and just live my life. Is it romantic as the notion seems on television?
No. There's a reason they call Maine vacation land. So you want to come up here from May through about this time of year, October, and then get out of Dodge.
Really?
Yeah, because it's going to get cold. It's going to get cold in the next month, and it's going to be cold for the next 5 months, and then it's going to get beautiful for about whatever that is, 4, 5, 6 months, and then it's cold again.
And then it's super cold again. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So, come up here, live up here in the summer, go back down to Austin. That's the way to do it.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. If I can punch lobsters, I'm all in, obviously. So.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to eat
That's
everyone you
a
punch.
huge benefit.
And
No.
they don't have a central nervous system either, so you're not actually harming anybody.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I could punt one too, pretty far, I bet.
Not as far as McAfee.
Probably 30 yards. I could probably punt a lobster 30 yards. If it was a good, like, 6-pound lobster, I could get that 30.
I think you would have to rubber band its arms all the way down to its body.
Yes.
To make it like just one
Make it
solid.
tighter.
Yeah.
Aerodynamic.
Yeah.
You want to, of course.
Otherwise, it's going to be
You don't wanna
moving in the
flail
air, and you're
around.
going to get wobble and lose momentum and shit.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a
some
go.
drag on that.
I'll stay at your house. I'm going to go ahead and invite myself. Probably stay at your
You're
house.
invited. Yeah. Hey, why don't you stay at my place?
No, I will. I will for 3 or 4 months, and then just kind of test it out.
Perfect.
See where it is. Jack off next to all the car crashes that are happening down the street.
Just
videotape that.
Just like, I'm sure you guys are set up for this. Build a little shed, like a fucking ice fishing shed out there.
Oh yeah. Do you have one of those
Yeah.
for lobsters?
So that way, even when it's cold, like you
Yeah.
can still be out there pounding off watching cars crash.
Exactly, and then I can hunt for lobsters like at night.
So the ice fishing, they actually have it's like a ground blind essentially. It's a pop-up blind that
Yeah.
you can use and put it on the ice, but it's all insulated. They're incredible. So the ice fishing is awesome, and you get yourself a little space heater in there, sit out on the lake, you're good to go. Most of these guys will actually, if they've been doing it for any amount of time, will actually pull their little shack out there and keep it on the ice for the entire winter, and then just bring it in before the thaw.
Really?
It's like Groundhog Day. They create these little cities. They have roads, cars and trucks driving on these roads, on the ice, on the lake. It's crazy.
That's fucking gnarly, dude.
That's pretty dope.
How many times
It's
has one of
awesome.
those space heaters just kind of heated up the ice and the people fell through?
I have not heard of that, and I thought that would happen, but it actually just doesn't happen.
Really?
Yeah,
I say we give it a go.
we might as well try it though.
Well, we rent out one that's super hot, and we don't tell anyone. It's all jacked up, It's jacked up to like 180, and it's like, hey man, here's your space heater, here's your bucket for your fish and everything else. Just go out there, turn it up to high, and you'll be fine. It'll be
And
nice
see
and
if they-
toasty, and then see if they fall through the ice. Because
It sounds like a legitimate plan.
I also have a hero complex that I want to be a hero and save somebody's life when they fall through the ice. And I don't know why that is, but it's, a lot of movies as a kid, you see people fall through the ice and then you want to save their lives and be a part of them forever.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the ice that bad, but if you want to do that, I'll watch you do it. I'll video it and we'll post that on OnlyFans or wherever you guys were suggesting earlier.
You can just buy the adult dunk tank that everybody's buying now.
There you go.
So you can.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
Is that really a thing? People are getting these dunk tanks? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's an ice bath, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of work. To be honest, just go take a cold shower. Man.
That's it. Just take a cold shower. I knew they did that with the Queen's body and the royal family.
Well, they do that. They dunk it in really cold water so the skin shrinks up. Right. That way it stays tight for a couple of days, and she doesn't, because otherwise it's Botox, but it doesn't work on necrotic flesh.
Correct. And so they were dunking her, but it was family only. Like the press wasn't involved.
It's basically the same way that you're supposed to shave your balls, right? So you're supposed to dunk them in cold water so they fucking tighten up so you can get all the hair and don't get any folds in there.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get that fold out, or otherwise you're going to nick it. You're going to nick them balls. Yeah. With you, your podcast is huge. You've had a ton of awesome guests. I was scrolling through your catalog before we came on air, and I saw Kirk Cameron was one of your guests on there.
Yeah.
How do you know Kirk Cameron?
I don't prior to that podcast.
No shit.
We just reached out to him. I've got an incredible assistant, booker. She's kind of does everything. She's incredible. And I said, hey, here's somebody I think we would be cool on the podcast that I want to talk with. She works some angles, works some connections, and we had Kirk on. We had a great conversation. He was just coming out with a movie. So it was a good conversation. That's how we do with most of the guys that we've had on. We don't really have connections with them until we're able to book them on the podcast.
No shit. Because it was cool. And he was the opposite. When I listened to the show, he was the opposite of what I thought he was going to be. And he didn't really give a shit. He was leading with heavy hitters, dude, about beards. Do you remember that joke he told you about beards?
That's right. Yeah, I can't. What did he say? Something about I don't know, a woman or something. If
only women and children don't have beards, and I was like, right. Because real men do.
Like, I got this guy now. Yeah. And you stayed on for the rest of the show.
Oh, 100%. Kirk Cameron fucks. Wait, literally, he has 6 kids. I didn't know that till listening to your show.
Does he have a beard?
Yeah, he's got a beard.
He does,
and he does have 6 kids.
I haven't seen him in a while.
He doesn't pull out. He's pretty religious. And he doesn't pull out.
I'm not sure there's anything in religion that says you can't pull out and blast all over a girl's face and titties.
I think it was was it Austin 3:15 that said that? 3:14?
No, it's actually something about it's better to spill your seed in the belly of a whore than on the ground.
Okay, was that it?
That's in the Bible, yeah.
Oh, it is. That one is. All right. I haven't read it in a long time.
No, it's not. It's not really in there. It's like an urban legend.
I'm waiting for the audiobook by Christ himself because I want him to come back and then do an audiobook of it.
Have you seen that show, limited series? Unfortunately, they didn't renew it because it was awesome, but it's called Messiah. It was on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a dude. It's the story is the Messiah's comeback, maybe, right? People are trying to figure out who he is, but he's doing all this miraculous shit. He's from, I think originally from Iraq, but was raised in Iran and blah, blah, blah. And I think that's the backdrop, but the real story is how if there was indeed a Jesus and he returned as a political figure today, how people would treat him. Like the CIA's all over his ass, fucking Mossad sending hitmen after him and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more subtle than that. There's a lot of internal conflict and shit. It's really interesting.
I think it would be Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz would be what? There's some laughter in the background. I don't understand.
You think he would be the Messiah? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that he already pretends like he is. So you want somebody who's already like playing the character already, where you're just like, oh, all right, I'm sure, Ted. That
makes
fine.
sense, right?
That's fine. Yeah. Does a guy like you, speaking of politics, follow midterms at all? Are you amped for this for November 8th? Do you go out, take the whole family, talk about voting, teach them about voting?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about voting. I actually went to my first political fundraiser or dinner or whatever the other day. A couple months ago. That was a first for me. I've never really got involved and that heavy into it. So it's just something that doesn't do it for me. But I think it's important, and so I follow a little bit.
Who was it? Who did you go see?
It was for our governor who's running for governor. It's Paul LePage.
Okay. What was her whole sitch? Was she cool? Did you believe her?
Hit him, but
it's Paul LePage.
Oh,
LePage.
I thought Paula LePage.
Usually,
Paula
LePage.
Yeah, usually I give you shit, but that's understandable.
Yeah, that's very French sounding. Paul LePage.
Yes.
Paul LePage.
Yes.
Okay.
Paul LePage. Yeah.
Was Paul cool? Did he dap you up?
Yeah, so he was the governor before Janet Mills, and she's done a number on Maine up here. So he's like, you know what, screw this, I'm coming back. So this is a businessman. He's very, very successful in business. He got Maine out of a deficit and had a surplus. She burned through that in a matter of 12 months, back into a deficit in Maine. So he's coming back and saying, hey, we're going to get us back on track. So we'll see how that goes.
No shit. Hey, Bob, pull up a picture of Paul Page, and let's see what this guy looks like. I'll be able to tell you just from looks alone. I don't know how his polls are doing, but I want to see a pic of this guy and put him on screen. I want to know who you were sitting at dinner with. Was it dinner, I'm assuming?
It was a dinner. Yeah, it was a dinner fundraiser.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, look at that, dude. Did you give him some elk?
I should have. He should have given me something.
Yeah,
Give me some
he sure
moose.
did. Put him up there, Bob. Stretch him out. There you go. Look at that. That's a guy in charge. He knows what he wants. If you order steak sauce, you're out of the dinner, right? He throws you off the table.
Yeah, that should be the standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you order anything above medium, and
you're out.
And you put anything on the steak other than like béarnaise, then you should be probably summarily executed. To be honest, like we can't. At some point, you have a responsibility to protect the gene pool from people like you, for example.
Sure.
That eat well.
Yep.
Well done steak. That's unacceptable.
That's not true. Okay, you're embarrassing me in front of my friend here, and I want to tell you, Ryan, Rye Guy, that is not true. Okay.
Good.
Here's the thing. I know how lazy people are in Austin. If you don't say medium well, it's going to be rare. Therefore, I say medium well because I know they're lazy enough that they're going to pull it off, and it's going to be medium, just like I like it. But if you don't say medium well.
Medium rare is not bad either, though. I mean, that's okay.
But that's a danger in
medium
Austin.
Lighter.
Yeah, that's a danger in Austin because they're super lazy here. So you gotta.
Bob, can you pull up a chart of the just steak, like the different temperatures, so we can look at them and see what they are? Because I want Ross, I want you to identify them for me.
Tell
me what they
are. I will for sure.
Preferably one that isn't labeled, but if it is labeled, that's fine. Because this is just a little experiment.
Paul LePage he's a raw dog. I can see him going super rare with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop that pic up on screen, Bob. What do we got there? Okay.
So the color is a little odd. That's up top. It would look gray in real life.
Right.
Yeah, this is a horrible picture.
It
could just be the screen, though.
Yeah, that's fine. So zoom out. I'll tell you in all honesty.
This is a better one.
All right. So pop that one up there, Bob.
No free ads. Don't buy Omaha steaks unless we tell you to.
Yeah, unless Peyton Manning does.
Right. So that's rare.
I don't get down on rare.
Medium rare is the way you're supposed to eat a steak.
I'm not there either. I'm at the 140 right there, or the medium well at 150. So yeah, 140 to 150. That's where I live. Now that well done that's fucked up.
So you're affecting the reason that steak tastes good is because of the fat, the marbled fat that's inside of it, right? Mm-hmm. And when you cook it above 130 degrees, then the fat starts to literally evaporate outside of the middle of the meat.
Yeah.
So you might have fat on the outside on the ring if it's a New York strip on the cap, but you're not going to have fat inside of the steak.
But I'm one of
those. That defeats the whole purpose. Just go eat chicken and dipped in NyQuil, bitch.
I need to fucking see.
And stop wasting steak.
Sleepy chicken.
Yeah, eat some sleepy chicken and leave the steak alone.
I need to see what's going inside my mouth. This is not a game where we're going to just put something in Ross's mouth and then it could be steak, it could be a man's penis. We're not doing that. All right. I want to see what this looks like. Judging by the colors of what Bob just showed us on the screen there, I stand by my decision. It's 130, 140 there. And that's kind of where I live, dude.
You can't go in public anymore.
Why?
I don't think you should be allowed.
People love me.
No.
Yes.
If you want to order a hamburger, medium well or well done, I would understand that because that gets undercooked a lot more than a steak does. But a steak, you're ruining a piece of meat.
Now,
there's a finite amount of steak. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? Eventually, it'll go away just like everything else does.
We'll be dead, though.
99.98% of all species that have ever existed no longer exist. And at some point, there aren't going to be any steaks left. And at that point, I'm going to look back on all the people who misused the steaks that were available, and I'm going on a fucking murder spree. I'll kill everybody.
All right.
Anybody that's ever wasted steak is going to draw my ire.
Well, now I'll be totally honest with you here. The thing that I do like over like well done is salmon. So if I go, I want salmon well done. I don't really know why. If I want it raw, I'll get sushi. I don't want it in the middle, and I'll ask for well done, and I'll tell the waiter, hey, this is super white trash. Can you make this well done?
Yeah, you don't have to say the super white trash part.
You do, because then they'll go back to the kitchen and laugh, or like somebody will spit in your food. Like chefs hate it. They fucking hate it. Dude.
Yeah.
So I have to say that, and I'm like, tell the chef that it's a big joke and I'm fucking white trash and I want that well done. But as far as steaks go, no, I still live in that range, and that's exactly where I want it. I don't want to take a bite and then blood is going down my chin.
Why? That blood is carrying. So have you ever looked at the blood from a steak? After it starts to cool off a little bit, you'll see those little dots of fat inside of it.
Yeah.
The blood is the liquid that carries the lipid into your body.
Just want a little bit of it. I don't want a lot of it, okay? It's the blood of Christ. I don't want a lot of it. I just want a little tiny bit. Ryan, what are you laughing at, okay? I want a little bit of it.
I'm listening.
Where do you live?
Listening to the commentary.
Where do you live in this world? Are you raw?
I'm in the medium. I'm in the medium
Okay.
zone.
But not medium rare? Medium rare is too much?
Medium rare is fine. But if I was ordering a steak, I'd say medium.
Okay. Best steak you've ever had in your life, where were you?
There was one in New York I had. This was probably 10 years ago. And I don't even remember where it was, but I remember it was expensive. I'm like, why is this so expensive? And then I ate it. I'm like, got it. They age it or cure it or do whatever it is they do to the steak. And it was beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. To perfection.
Yeah, I remember where I was when I had my first like beautiful steak, where I was like, oh shit, this is life-changing. Old school restaurant in New York, same spot. This was called Peter Luger's, and I got made fun of for asking for a menu, and the waiter was like, "We don't do that here." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's my first time here. I'm super white trash." You know, I kind of went through that whole thing again.
Sure.
And he goes, "We only have steak on the menu." And he goes, "You order steak for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many people are at the table, and that's it. And then sides-wise, you just kind of shout out whatever, and we either have it or we don't, and that's it." Yeah, and it was delightful. The steak came cut up, by the way. Have you ever had that?
No, I don't like that. I'll cut my own steak. Like let me handle that.
Yeah, they cut it up for you. So when it came to the table, there was 4 of us, and it was all chopped into perfect pieces in this garlic butter sauce. It was kind of still.
That sounds good.
I know, and I was.
All I remember about this place, somebody's listening and will know. If I remember correctly, there was a ton of pipes all over the wall, like smoking tobacco pipes, like all over the wall, on the ceiling, like all kind of tobacco pipes. So somebody might remember that place and be able to tell me what it is.
Damn it, dude! I don't think I've been there. I would have remembered that for sure.
Where was it?
New York.
This was in New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Like in the city, uptown, downtown. Where was it?
Yeah, I think it was in Lower Manhattan, somewhere around there. It seems like, and we had to go downstairs into this place, and there was the tobacco pipes and the most beautiful steak I've ever had.
Yeah, they've got great restaurants and bars in New York. I still love New York. There was a place called Churchill's where we used to go for drinks.
Was it Keen's?
Keen's, maybe. I don't remember.
Like Keens. They own the largest collection of church warden pipes in the world.
Oh, pop it up, Bob. Let's see it. They got a pic of this, dude. Let's see it.
No, I got to pull it up too.
Yeah, pull it up, dude.
What is it? Keen's Restaurant or something?
Keen's Steakhouse.
Steakhouse, New York. Let me look.
They have 50,000 clay smoking pipes.
No shit.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And were they hung up on the walls?
It's on West. It's on West 36. So
it's on 36.
That's Midtown.
Yeah. That's nice. Let's see it.
I think this is it. This is looking familiar.
Oh shit! I've been here. Yeah, the Chop House. Go. So usually at night it's kind of reddish inside. Yeah, can you push in one of those pictures
of the food? We don't.
Yeah.
Fuck the ambiance.
Yeah, fuck the ambiance. Push in one of the food. Yes, I have. You know what? They brought it. I've been there. They brought this fucking not medium, by the way. It was not medium. I remember that. The steak wasn't medium there. And they just brought it out for you.
A place like this is not going to bring you a medium steak. They're going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
They did tell me to go fuck myself. Yeah.
Because they know a little bit more about steak than you.
I was with Matt Best. We were there. Shit, dude. Somebody had taken us there though, because I didn't know about this joint. And then ironically, that's when we went to the Churchill places. Now Churchill's is dope.
Yeah,
so Churchill's is they got drinks in there, and when you go to the bathroom, as soon as you shut the door and it snaps behind you, it plays old speeches by Winston Churchill.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So it turns like a 5-minute shit into like a 20, 25-minute shit because you want to hear these speeches.
You don't want to miss the ending. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Then I get stuck on Wikipedia looking shit up.
Yeah. Delightful. It's probably the greatest place to shit in New York City. And I know that's a bold
Probably the
statement.
greatest place in public to shit, yeah.
Yeah, easily. There's something soothing about Churchill's voice when you're just taking a grumpy. When you're just really grunting one out, where you're like, oh, man, son of a bitch. You feel more powerful, like you're able to go out into the world after that and change shit, you know?
Yes.
The best steak that I've ever had that I didn't personally cook, it was from Bazaar Meats in Vegas. It's a restaurant by Jose Andres. He's the guy that brought Spanish tapas to the United States.
Okay.
He's got a restaurant called Jaleo in DC, Vegas, New York, LA, a couple other places. But it's Kobe rib cap, eye of the rib, and from like A5 Wagyu from Japan, and it's $65 an ounce, I think.
No shit.
I think the minimum order is 4 ounces, but I obviously got more than that.
Yeah.
You can ask Brittany about it. I think it's served on a salt block too, like a little salt block.
Really?
It's the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. Wow. Like by far.
Have you guys? There's an interesting place I had set up for us in DC at Trump's restaurant in DC, and they have a bacon curtain appetizer.
Sorry, bacon curtain?
Curtain, I think is what they call it. A bacon curtain. Is that what? You guys have to look that up.
Does it? Do they walk it out and just kind of pull it out in front of you? The curtain.
It's just like on a I mean it's like on an appetizer tray, and it's like strings across, and they lay the bacon over it, and they do something I can't exactly remember. But that was an interesting experience, and the bacon curtain at Trump restaurant was pretty good. It's pretty
Damn
delicious.
it, dude! Pull that up, Bob. Let's see that bacon curtain.
That's the only.
Who are you texting, Bob? Read aloud.
That's the only restaurant they have there, right? It's that and a coffee shop, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
They don't really do a lot of riff-raff. They don't have like family stuff at Trump Tower because they don't want.
No, there's no frills. Even at the hotel in Vegas, there's no casinos or anything, which is shocking because it's Vegas, obviously. Let's see this beef curtain.
Beef curtain's something else.
Sorry about that.
Curtain. Careful on what you're.
Yeah, we were about to put up something super graphic on. Oh, look at that, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. God
that's
damn.
The on clothespins, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly the picture we have up right now.
Little rosemary.
That's
on
what
the
it's
side.
all about.
Look at that. That's at Trump's hotel.
Curtain. It is. Yeah. I'm assuming this one was in DC that I went to, but yeah.
Yeah. God. Well, he's got a hotel there.
That's where it was. It was in the hotel. Yeah, exactly.
Damn it, dude.
I might do this when I get home.
Yeah, put up a nice little bacon curtain for yourself.
Yep.
I might separate my children with it. You know?
They'll just eat their way through it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, it won't last long.
No.
It won't last long.
Well, I got a 2-year-old, so it's going to take him a while. You know? But put up a nice bacon curtain between him and his older brother, and whatever happens at that point.
I think you could use bacon to lure somebody out of veganism pretty easily, to be honest.
Or a nose.
Well, I think that's the struggle. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then that happens.
I mean, you got to be pretty hard up to eat a nose, though, right?
I don't know,
But
or
to eat
on
a piece
bath
of
salts.
bacon. Yeah.
But let's say you go down in a plane, a live style, or like Yellow Jacket style on Showtime. What are you eating first on a human?
I'm saying that the quad, the thigh, somewhere in there. I'm not going for the nose.
Okay. I think the nose would be easiest, though. Like if you were starving.
No, but it's cartilage, right? So it's going to be like
just
eating the end off of a fucking chicken leg or some shit.
Like the gristle. It's not a good cut of meat, you know? So you got to go for something better.
All right. I'm asking because I don't know. Like I'm assuming a guy like you doesn't go to the grocery store very often. You just go out to your backyard and just fucking hunt some shit. True or false?
We were well, not entirely true, but trying to get more and more there. We were out hunting turkeys this morning. I drew out for a moose tag here in Maine. I've got guys who've been putting in for 25, 30 years who are mad at me because I've been putting in for 3. So we got a moose tag up here in Maine. So there's some opportunity up here.
I think it might be easier just to start like a cultural beef or some kind of fight with the moose community, and then you have to defend yourself from the moose. And you don't like it's South Park.
Sure.
It's coming right for us. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So just like I don't know, maybe bang one of the moose's wives or some shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or I don't know how do you do it. Like some way to instigate a
moose.
fight between humans and meese, I think is how you say that.
Is that the
plural,
is that
yeah.
the
That's
plural?
the plural.
Yeah,
That's
so-
the plural. Absolutely.
Us versus them. And then it's like, hey, man, moose are too big. I got to use a gun. It was a machine gun. All the moose are dead.
Right.
Like, we don't need fucking moose. What do we need them for?
How's the meat? I've never had moose meat
it's
before.
good.
Is it really?
It's super
delicious.
lean, yeah.
I haven't
It's
had
like
it.
an elk. It's like elk.
I bet you've got 83 pounds in a freezer out back. True.
I have no moose meat right now. Actually, you know what's funny? You know how like when you move to a new place, people bring you cookies or whatever, or a pie or whatever. They're just trying to be neighborly.
Sure.
Well, when we moved here, we had people bring bear meat and moose meat over to us to welcome them in us into the neighborhood. And then we had there's a church across the street, and they were having a big shindig over there. And a lady came over, and I guess they had too much food, so they brought this 2 big pork tenderloins. They're like, "Hey, we had this at the church, but we didn't need it all. Do you guys want it? Looks like you have a big family." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we'll take it." So people bring meat by when you move into the neighborhood here in Maine.
That's very American.
It is.
By
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you didn't bring the church up when we were talking about pounding off at that intersection earlier. That seems like that might be
that's
another
tr-
problem.
that's-
so
That's true. I
we
didn't
may need a wall on
think about
both
that.
sides of the road. Is what
Both
I'm saying.
sides.
Yeah. Separate church and state. Obviously. Is there a church next to your house?
Right across the street. It actually used to be on our property years and years ago before we moved here, but they jacked it up and put it on a trailer and brought it across the street.
No shit. Do you go there?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No, they worship the devil or something. I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. You don't have to leave your house.
You sure don't.
Yeah.
You sure don't. You can do that
just-
right in your own
You don't have to
basement.
go anywhere. You don't have to put your any Sunday dress on or anything like that. Like you just do it.
I mean, there's a lot of weird sex shit, but
Yeah, obviously. What kind of church is it? So, by the way, the reason I ask is we're in one right now. This was an old converted church. We gutted it and then put our own shit in here. What kind of church was it?
This is a Baptist church.
Ah, shit, dude.
and they literally instead of building a new building, they just put that bitch on on a lift and carried it across the
Jacked
street.
it up. Yeah, jacked it up, put it on a truck. I don't know.
How much does
they
it cost to
brought
do
it
something
over there.
like that? That's got to be super
I have
expensive.
no idea.
Whenever I
Yeah.
see somebody's house driving next to me on a highway,
Yeah.
I always think to myself, hey, man, you couldn't have left the fucking house because that looks expensive.
I want to live in a house that's constantly on the move.
So do I.
Like just
Like an
it's,
RV.
it's a
Right.
double wide on the back of a super fucking wide trailer.
But you
flat
never
bed.
let it down. Yeah, you're just
Right.
living in it, and then the double wide
like
just
they
keeps driving.
from time to time it'll slow down so I can fucking jump off, and then
Right.
I'll meet it somewhere and jump back on like a fucking hobo getting on a railroad or getting on a train car.
But how do you sew that house back together? You know, you always see it going in halves like that. Would you trust it the rest of your life?
Well, it never stops though. That's the point.
No. But in let's say these houses that are actually going down the road, and you saw these fuckers in half. And then put them back together. I wouldn't trust that.
When, back in the day, I don't know how common it is now, but back in the day, it used to be relatively common, and that was before we had the technology to look into the quote unquote bones of the house to see if the the load bearing beams are fracturing, like have micro fractures and stuff. You couldn't see that shit back in the day. Now you can with tech, so I would be more comfortable now doing it, I guess. But back in the day, probably when that church got moved, they have no idea what the structural integrity of that bitch is.
Right.
No.
It could just crumble
They're
and fall
just
apart.
they're just hoping. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what church is. It's hope, and that's
Hope-
what it's providing the people.
Hope is not a game plan. And look, if you believe in God, you have to assume He's giving you the tools to make good decisions. And sitting inside of a building that might fall down at any minute is a bad decision.
It depends. Sometimes you want to leave it up to Him.
No, that's the snake handling shit. It's like look how awesome my God is.
Yeah.
You get bit like 6 times in the face. Like, all right, cool. I guess he's not that awesome.
That was ours, Ryan. So we were in a snake handling one.
a snake handling church.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So-
are you not familiar with this?
Are you not
No.
familiar with Pentecostal? Okay.
No.
Bob, if you can bring up a picture of the snakes at Pentecostal
Oh, yeah.
churches, these are great because they kind of taunt people with the snake, and then it's like, what do they defang them, or is there no venom in them, or something like that?
Fully
They-
veined up. Fully veined up.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Oh, they leave them fully fenned up?
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
Shit,
There would be no faith involved if you removed the venom.
Wow.
But you can remove the venom sac or whatever the fuck it's called from snakes.
Okay.
But that's, I don't know.
Yeah, pop this up because I remember them like.
Interesting.
There it is. Yeah, holding it up. That's the pic of it right there. And we never actually broke down what the sitch is with something like this. Like, is this gone through the snake?
God keeps the snakes from biting you.
Oh, he does.
Through your
Okay.
faith, the snakes will not
Got it.
bite you in the
But you
face.
need to test everybody with the snakes.
all the time.
Makes sense.
You got to take the snake test. It's like, you go to the White House, take a COVID test.
Sure.
You go in every day.
Yeah.
You go to a Pentecostal church.
I'd like to get my wife
Snake
involved in
test.
something like
Yes.
this. Give her a snake test every night when I come home, just to make sure everything's on the up and up.
Or you can throw
make sure
her
it's all
into
working
Yeah.
So all this stuff always ties back together. King James produced the first English version of the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. He also was the guy that came up with the idea to drown women to see if they were witches.
Okay.
So something he wrote in the early 16th century was actually used in court during the Salem witch trials. Like they referenced King James, the guy who produced the 1511 King James Bible, the first ever English or non-Latin or Greek Bible, actually. He is responsible for a lot of really funny Monty Python comedy, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
Look at that, dude.
Is she a duck?
Yeah. That's him, huh?
Yeah. So
Good for him.
thanks, guy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Let's celebrate his life today.
Yeah, it's why
you
you shouldn't take anything any human being says too seriously, I guess is the point there. Because they're going to sound really good right up until the point where they go off the cliff, and you don't want them to be able to reach back and grab your shirt and pull them with you.
You
know what I
sure
mean?
don't.
Good point.
Yeah,
Good
you
point.
sure don't.
Keep a fucking close, like just enough distance between you and people.
Yeah, of course.
That's why you go move to Maine.
It is. It is. Now's the point of the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Good question. Actually, part of the reason since we're talking about Maine, moving up here to Maine, is shout out to Pete Roberts. He's the founder of Origin Maine. They're doing 100% everything made in America: jeans, boots, denim. Works with Jocko. Has been a good advocate and a good friend over the past 3 years since I've been up here, and part of the reason I'm up here. So shout out to him for sure.
Awesome. How close are you guys?
Like friendship wise, or like geographically located?
No. Have you guys had sex? I want to know if you guys have
Oh,
had sex.
got it. No, not that close.
Okay. That's the first time I've ever asked. We've done, 1,200, 1,300 shows on here. And, when you bring up a man who's helped you, I was like, man, did you guys ever have sex? Did you guys ever
I'm
go?
glad I'm the first one you asked that to. And I'm glad I could answer that question that no, we have not.
It's an historic moment.
It's an historic moment for the show, but also, like, you're the guy that I can ask where I know I'm going to get an honest answer from you.
Of course.
Some
Of
people
course.
I don't know if I'm going to get an honest answer from, but you, of course. Tell everybody where they can find your book. It is on sale next week.
Yes. The Masculinity Manifesto, wherever you get books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you do your thing. And we're at orderofman.com. So you can find it between those two sources.
Do you go and look up your rankings for categories and all that stuff as the days go by?
No, I haven't looked. Not too concerned with that. Doing some podcasts and going around and making the rounds. But yeah, I figured it'll do what it's going to do. So I haven't been too concerned with it.
Well, I like to bring it up to people because it's always interesting the subcategories on Amazon that they'll kind of put you in. Because I guarantee
that is interesting.
you,
Gender studies, this kind of thing. I'm sure.
yeah. So you're 90 right now, and this is a pre-order. So that's pretty good. The week before,
Okay.
in
Yeah.
men's gender studies.
Is that right? Yeah. I haven't looked, so I guess that would be the case. It doesn't. I figured that would be the case.
Now you're 99 Luff Balloons in Christian men's issues.
Okay. All right.
So are you Christian?
I am Christian. It's not a Christian book. But,
No, I know.
am
That's,
Christian.
I didn't know if there was some Christianity involved because they got you in that category.
They're going to put me in there, but it's not a Christian book. I may have mentioned it or mentioned my faith in there, but it doesn't have any Christian type undertones or threads through it.
Now, here's where shit gets wild to me. Number 199 in general gender studies. Now, there's men's gender studies. It used to be just gender studies. Now we're kind of separating all the categories of genders.
Yeah, I guess. Well, can you separate them? Can you actually extrapolate man from woman in today's culture? I don't know. I don't know why they would do that.
Some
if
people
they're
say you got to keep them
one and the
separated.
same.
Yeah, you got to keep them separated. And somebody made a big hit song about that. Linda Paulson in her campaign rap song also said she knows what a woman is. And when an 80-year-old says that, you take it to heart. You know?
The fact that anybody
You
has to
listen.
say those words in that order is fucked.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's asinine.
So
Tell everybody where they can find you on social media and podcast-wise.
Yeah, Order of Man is our podcast, and you can find me on social media at either Order of Man or Ryan Michler. I'm on all the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the places.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for being on the show. It was a pleasure. Best of luck with the book. Every time you come on, it's a weird, wild show, and I enjoy it. So thank
It's
you.
definitely the weirdest podcast that I have been on twice now. So, but I enjoy it. But I definitely enjoy it.
Will there be a third time? Probably not.
We'll find out.
well, actually, we're
I have
recording
peop-
Citizen tomorrow, so.
Oh, are you really? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But that one's
have,
not going to be weird.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have the first time I came on, people messaged me and they're like, What? I can't even remember. Like, what are you doing? That was the craziest podcast. And then there was a couple times where like, you were so uncomfortable at this one moment where you guys, in this moment, I would say when you guys are talking about wrapping your penises together, that's the awkward moment for me in this one. So I'm sure I'll get comments about that.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, and look, it helps to have a visual that we're on camera, so it's a lot like this, and then you're
Yes.
kind of. And again,
Yes.
nobody comes. It's just a male dominance thing where you're intertwining dongs in the night.
That's
So,
right.
Nobody, nobody's
I
climaxing
didn't need to
on
see
each
it
other.
again. I get it.
Are you sure? Because there's a
No, I'm sure.
Like now, if you wrap it around your neck like that, then you're kind of in a danger zone where it's like a Hans device. You don't want to put a penis Hans device on your male friend if that's
Fair
not
enough.
getting
Yeah.
sexual. But we appreciate it, Ryan. Grab his
Thanks,
book,
guys.
one of the best in the biz. Great podcast, Order of Man. Check him out, and again, get that book next week, Amazon or wherever you get your books. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.